Good morning. It is 7:48 a.m. on Friday. Is that right? February 11th, 2022. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Last night, I decided to watch The Power of the Dog, which is one of the films nominated for Oscars this year. In particular, it is the film nominated for the most Oscars. Like, out of all the nominated movies, it received 12 nominations, which was the most out of any of the nominated films. And I didn't just, let's see, I think I can pull up relatively quickly what it was nominated for. Best Picture, certainly. Best Director. Best Actor for Benedict Cumberbatch. Best Supporting Actor for both Jesse Plemons and Cody Smith-McPhee. Best Supporting Actress for Kirsten Dunst. Best Adapted Screenplay for Jane Campion, who also is the director. And so I believe that's actually also her second, because she also did the piano, so this is her second Best Director nomination. Best Original Score, Best Production Design, Best Cinematography, Best Sound, and then Best Film Editing as well. So, bunch of nominations. This is a movie that's just on Netflix, so pretty accessible. And it's actually been out for a little while. It's not super new. I had certainly heard people talking about it. But I had managed to avoid any plot details almost entirely, other than knowing that it's sort of generically a Western. Like, that's really all I knew about it. And so I'm not going to say much more than that in terms of plot, because I think, it's hard, because this is an unusual movie in some ways. And so, because I feel like my viewing ultimately was enhanced by not knowing much about the plot, I'm not going to share too much plot detail, but for reasons that I'll go into a bit more, you may feel differently and want to look up some plot details. But ultimately, what I will say about it is that it is set in 1925 around a ranch in Montana, and in particular, excuse me, we've got just a pair of brothers played by Benedict Cumberbatch and Jesse Plemons, a local woman played by Kirsten Dunst, and her son played by Cody Smith-McPhee. And just all of them kind of interacting with one another essentially makes up the story. So I spent most of this movie really not sure how I felt about it. It has a really palpable sense of unease in it, where, like, for most of the movie, I just sort of, like, the weird feeling I had was that I was unsafe. Not physically, obviously, because I'm just really there sitting on my couch, but emotionally, because there's just this tension of, oh God, it feels like something bad might happen, but what will it be? When will it happen? I don't know, but there's just something in the air that feels like, and so, I'm not going to pretend that's a fun feeling to have, because it's not. And I spent most of the movie feeling that way. And so in some respects, it's like, did I enjoy watching this movie? What I will say, though, is there is ultimately a catharsis. And when that came, I was just blown away. And when I say catharsis, if you're not used to that term, mostly what I mean is like a relieving of the tension that had been built up. And just, by the time we get to the end of the movie, my point is that tension has been released in a way that I found incredible. Like, and so in that respect, even though I spent a lot of my time watching the movie, not having a good time, by the end, amazing. I really, really love it. But at the same time, like I said, some people are going to be more sensitive even to that feeling of unease than I was. And so you have to kind of know your own comfort level with that sort of thing. Like I said, part of what made that tension so powerful for me is not having any idea what might happen, because I hadn't looked up any plot details or anything. Um, and so this feeling of like, I feel like something bad's going to happen, but what? And so I think that it might be that if you are particularly sensitive to some things, you might maybe look up some content warnings or something like that. I only mention that, like, I I don't want to say more. What I'll say is I found this movie incredibly tense and uneasy through most of it, but by the end incredibly satisfying in the way that the story resolves itself. And I think it's really amazing, and it deserves a lot of those nominations. I'm not going to say all of them right now, just because there's a lot of other movies that I haven't seen yet. But it's an incredible film that is a weird watch. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.